Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today, I would imagine that most of y'all have already heard about Trump's tweet or retweet or retruth or whatever it was. And I would imagine that that's what most of the coverage is about this morning. Was he predicting it? Was he calling for it? Was he just some old man that doesn't know how to run his own social media network? What happened? What are the implications of it? Should he be calling for this? What does this say when a former president does this? Because of those two little words, right? Civil war. Thing is, I don't want to talk about that. I'm pretty sure that everybody's going to be talking about that. I want to talk about the people that message was meant for. Because those conversations come up in my geographic area a lot. And I hear them in the diners every once in a while. And I always insert myself in because I have questions when people start talking about it. The first is, what is it going to be like? And it never ceases to baffle me that the descriptions I hear, they're just abject fantasy. They're total fantasies. Even those people who were over there, they were in Iraq or Afghanistan, what they describe is their experience over there. But that's not what it would be like. You wouldn't be the visiting team. You wouldn't be the visiting team. What it would be like those horrible stories you heard from the Terps, from the interpreters. Those stories so dark, can't even say them on YouTube, right? That's what it would be like. Because you're not the visiting team. It's happening in your home. Can never get an accurate description of what they think it would be like. And when they have some idea in their head, it's not even close to reality. And then you ask, why? What is it at this moment that has got you ready to rip the country you supposedly love apart and just shred it? Destroy everything you have ever known or ever said that you loved. Because that's what would happen, right? There's never an answer for that either. It's just general angst. Right now I'm sure somebody would say something about inflation. A global issue, meaning it has nothing to do with who's sitting in D.C. Not really. There's that. And man, I got some bad news about the value of your currency during a civil war. So, most people, in fact, I've never had somebody give me an accurate description of what it would be like. And I've never had anybody give me a tangible grievance, some intolerable act that they can point to and say, this is why. It's just general angst. And then you ask my favorite question, what happens after? You don't get an answer there either. And if you push and you really try to just drag one out of them, you get one of two things. Some general anti-establishment attitude, which, hey, I can get behind that. I get it. But then I got to ask, in what world is a trust fund baby billionaire not the establishment? Just a different faction of it. And that's normally what civil wars are. A method of creating a game, a life and death game for poor people to play. So one faction of the establishment can get a little bit more power. And if it's not that, they'll say something generic, like restore the Constitution. And if you press them and ask, what exactly does that mean? You can never get an answer. I've got some bad news about that too. The Constitution either explicitly allowed everything that has happened, or it was powerless to stop it. It's a hard pill to swallow, but it's 100% truth. The Constitution, it's not magic. It's just words on paper. The Constitution was built around the idea of advanced citizenship. You have to be involved. You have to make the country better rather than relying on the decisions of your betters, of those people you hold up as messiahs. Those people who could convince you with a tweet that it might be time to destroy everything you've ever known or loved. The Constitution didn't work because you got angry, because you gave in to the idea of violence being the answer rather than building. It's a whole lot easier to destroy than it is to build, right? If you're one of those who carries that idea, that it's time for civil war, ask yourself those questions. What's it going to be like? Am I really willing to sacrifice everything that I've ever known or loved? What's the actual grievance? What happens after? Are you really willing to commit years of your life and destroy the country for whatever that grievance is? I'm willing to bet that if you stop and you actually thought about it for a second, you would realize how wild it sounds. There are a lot of people who have legitimate grievances in this country who are just dying for change, literally in some cases. But those aren't the demographics I see in the diners. Those aren't the people I hear talking about this. The people I hear talking about this are the people who drive to the diner for lunch. They're not at the bottom. They're not those struggling to get by. They aren't those with a target on their back. They aren't those that were forgotten or ignored or explicitly exempted when the Constitution was written. And because some guy tweeted, I have no doubt in my mind that that's what people are going to be talking about today. Because he stirred people up. He found a way to reach into that group that has that angst and give them permission to be their worst. I'm just wondering if it's really worth destroying your town, your village. Think of those stories from the interpreters. And if you don't know any, talk to somebody who was over there. Because that's what the stories will be like. It's not convoys. It's not patrols. It's those origin stories for the interpreters, or maybe some of the people who joined the National Army, or the Kurds. That's what it would be like, because you're not the visiting team. This happens in your town. And one of the other things that always comes up, because this generally comes from one side around here, is the idea that, we're gonna fight the leftists. I always find that funny. I'm like, you won't kill me. I thought we were friends. Oh no, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about those other ones. Yeah, I get it. I'm one of the good ones, right? That created enemy that goes against everything you know. Because I'm willing to bet every one of you has liberals or leftists or whoever in your life that you view as friends, that you wouldn't really want to see go. But, I mean, there is that tweet. Some rich guy that you never met, doesn't care about you, tweeted something. That might be a good reason to destroy everything that you've ever known. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.